let's not do an open. We'll just go straight in.
Just go straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready? Action.
Hi, welcome to Fringe Festival Support. We're a community spirit program that's meant to help performers and workers come together and support each other a bit more during the Fringe, give some hints and tips, tell you where you should go, where you should stay away from, and how you should just cope through the month, basically. It's a hard old time. And we're here with Mr. Tony Law.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for coming in. I know it's early.
Yeah, well, not super early for me.
I was going to say, you're looking sharp.
I got a show on at, I have to get to my show by noon, so I purposely chose an early show, originally, way back in 2010, to sort of be a little bit outside of the festival.
Yeah.
So back then there wasn't any noon shows, and I always had a issue with drinking, so I figured going on at noon, and say around that time we were getting our new babies arrived.
Okay.
And so I was staying sober during that period. And noon was great because they were asleep. They're twins, so they were asleep between 11 and 1. And so I would do my show, and then I was able to help with the breastfeeding, which
Excellent.
you have to do with their twins. You need to be holding one, and it's like a little factory.
Okay.
A constant little factory. So that's why I started off at noon.
And you can see video of that on Tony's YouTube channel. The whole breastfeeding maneuvers.
Nothing is not online.
You've been at the stand quite a lot.
Yeah, so that was another reason going there. So I was pretty much gonna quit comedy because it was getting me down in 2010, and I just started growing a beard, and then I phoned Tommy at the stand. And I thought, I'll give it one more roll of the dice and give it another go. And I thought, he offered me a 7:30 at night or a noon, and I thought, you know what, noon is hilarious. Back then it was really funny. So I just did noon, no PR, no posters, not just pure, and then word of mouth. One person, then there was 3, then there was 5, then it started to grow from there. But it recharged my sort of interest in it. I realized you could do the Fringe, and quite outside of it, way over there. And when we'd go down to the botanical gardens, and so when I went into the town center where all the posters and the anxiety was flooding, I was in a much better shape. And that lasted for about 3 years till the drink started rearing its head. My problem was I had it looked like I was about to become successful in around 2012. I won a whole bunch of awards here and there, all these different silly things, and then it, like, TV people were sniffing around, and it felt like on the horizon was some sort of security. Which is like what we all want, isn't it? And something inside of me collapsed and panicked, and I like to think I had good, like I battled it hard. But so it was sort of like 13 was like, well, that phase where you're pretending you're having fun. It's like, yeah, that guy's like that. And then 2014 was like, oh, that's when I started having to hide things. And then 2015 was just an absolute car wreck.
Okay.
And then I pulled the nose up. Well, I'd probably hit the ground and then pulled and stopped drinking and the rest on September 1st, 2015. And rather than it being a easy rise, like, oh yeah, stop drinking, fix that, it was actually kind of horrible for about 2 years. It was just awful, the whole, like, because you don't know who you are, and all that. Who are you as a person? Yada yada. Been continuing to do comedy through that time. And then it's the last couple of years, and it's actually leveled out, and I feel like I'm getting to a place. But the whole time I've still come up.
Yeah.
Normally I try and use the tools I gave myself in 2010, which is try and stay out of town as much as possible. It's lovely walking through town and meeting friends and chitting and chatting, but if you find, which a lot of comedians I bet do, interactions exhausting. Like even when you're like your best mate.
Yeah.
It's tiring because you're looking at people all around you, and you're changing what you're thinking, and you're kind of.
I think people have a threshold for like social interaction, and like, especially with a noon show, it's like by about 4 o'clock you've hit it. Like, it's like I just want to be alone now.
Yeah.
I just want to be quiet.
And then, yeah, that was the big mistake in like 2011 or 12, maybe 12, when there was like a sniff of success. And inside, I'm like, you don't deserve this. And I mean, it's only in hindsight I see that that's what was going on. I was trying to sabotage anything good that was about to happen. I needed to be, so, and it would start with like I'd have a beer before the show in 2012. And then, of course, that would add to the elation after the show. So you'd have another beer.
Yeah.
And people are, people don't know what you like, so they're quite happy to see. Because you're actually a lot of fun for the first year of the downfall.
I thought you were going to say for like the first 5 beers.
Yeah, like you kind of up until 6 p.m., you're a bit of a laugh and quite, I think, fun to be around. And my shows were always good, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have been good, like good. But they were always like, I was always getting huge laughs. I mean, even the 2015 show was an absolute mess, but some people really loved it because they were watching a man break down live.
Yeah, this was the more abstract.
This is when I wore a horse's head.
Yeah.
And lived under a blanket, speaking about my shame.
Okay.
It was funny. Some people just thought it was just a scream, and other people thought it was a really nice exploration of breakdown. Anyway, I forget where I'm going on that.
I think you're right about the bubble around Edinburgh kind of starts at like the Half Price Hut and kind of comes across the railway tracks to sort of this area like Fringe Central and a bit beyond. Summer Hall feels like it's a little bit outside of it as well because it's kind of quieter, and that's pretty much where everybody lives. Like
Summer Hall and the Stand. But the problem with Summer Hall is it's close to a lot of people's digs.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me, you're bumping into a lot of people who are going through their own stuff and on various levels of stress, and so you're gonna walk past at least 4 people that day who aren't gonna notice you, or they're gonna look at you in a funny way, and there's only so many times you're gonna go, oh well, they're having a tough. The paranoia comes in, and just
because everybody deals with it in a slightly different way, like all of the stress and all of the anxiety, and you want to help. Like I think everybody at their heart wants to help, but they don't necessarily know what helps each individual person. Because everybody deals with it different. So it's like, do you need a hug? Do you need me to just like leave you alone right now? And do you need to just...
the old school ways, I'd go out and have beers with like Sean Locke and Dylan Moran, and those guys are just hard. But they were also at a level of success where they could just dip in and out. And that for me, that was just what I was seeking like all the time and all that. Now, even now, I was just being honest with yourself, like, walking around and the amount of posters and images, and it sparks off all those trains of thought, like, oh God, why didn't I get posters? Or, just little thoughts like that. Yeah. And then, wow, they got a big poster, and it just sparks off all these negative paths. So even now, that'll happen. But I'll just breathe in and just look around, and then just tell myself, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You don't care. You just want to go and do your little show to you. It's when you're seeing your basement.
It's when you're seeing stars and you're seeing sold out signs.
Wow,
and it's just constant like,
your shit.
I should be doing that.
Your shit. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to think of them as competition. Like
no.
We're all kind of trying to do the same thing.
Oh my God, it's like the gigs I do when I'm on tour in like Plymouth are just like another level from what I do here. There's something inhibiting. And I do my absolute best, obviously. Everyone does.
And what you do is quite absurdist. So, I think in Edinburgh, people kind of expect, they kind of, they don't know what to expect, but they're happy to expect whatever they get. Whereas in Plymouth, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I guess I've slowly combined a lovely audience I've got these pockets of places where I do quite well at, in spite of not being on TV or whatever. Just like, the old way of just constantly touring and word of mouth building up. And those people are really good. They keep coming back. But the gigs that I give to them there are I think, better. Well, they're certainly a lot longer. I guess it's just because I'm 100% there. I've had a lovely long drive. And if I've done well that day, I've had an apple. And so I'm just keen as
Service station apple, like £2.
Yeah, and I've not socialized with anyone, so I'm absolutely desperate to talk to the audience. So I love that. That's my dream life, is doing that. I love it.
Do you have support? You got your family up here, or you?
Yeah, they come up. That's always. That's like every parent will say the same. It's just like 8 levels of we've tried every different combination, and we don't have any answers to that. Like this year, I put my son in the show.
Okay.
And he just does a little miming bit, and he comes out of it with great dignity. And so it's a fantastic bit, but now it has to be in the show. But I can see that it's, even him doing that little bit is a stress that I hadn't, I kind of assumed it was just because it's such a small thing.
Wait, you have twins?
Yes,
and
my wife...
And you have one of them in the show?
Yeah, because my wife and I tried to split up the childcare.
Okay.
Instead of her having them all the whole time. I've got one, she's got one. Anyway, they're all here now, and he's still in the show. She didn't want to be in the show.
Can we be assured it's the same twin, like in each show, or are you
It's
you're
the
doing an
same
old
one,
switcheroo?
yeah. It's the boy.
So one's talented.
Yeah.
And,
The girl is 2. She's just not. She would have been keen maybe 2 years ago. It's just they're at different levels of. But what's great is I'm watching him sort of get it out of his system, and that's kind of one of the ideas behind it too. Is that when he's older, he might not want to go into clowning like his dad.
Yeah, and if he's only in like 10 minutes of the show, that's not blowing his best newcomer award chances later on.
He's still got a chance.
He's got his debut hour to come. No, that's nice.
Yeah, my idea is he's going to be a human rights lawyer because he'll just think, God, I'm not going to be that's what my old man does. What a loser.
How do you approach the Fringe now? So you've been here for so long, like you've been here for so many Fringes. Has it changed a lot? Do
you know what? I feel the exact same things as before. I always thought it was huge and mad, and everyone keeps talking about how big it is now. I feel like my little piece of it's the same size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like every year it's like, oh, it's getting too big, it's too big. Like next year it's going to fail, and then, oh, it didn't.
It feels about the same size as it was in 2010. Do you know what I mean? Just already big.
And do you try and, like, you're staying outside the bubble and you're...
Oh, trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to do any late night gigs. So I'm old and I get tired.
And yeah, you can't
The walking into town just takes it out of me. I'm exhausted. But then that's the thing, when you got the families, they need to go out and see shows and do stuff. And you should do it with them.
We used to stay at the north end of Newtown, and we would walk in, and our show was at like 1 o'clock or something, and so we would see you every day outside the stand, because it was like your time. And that was great, because it was like, we've seen Tony, that means we're halfway up the hill. And then there's another half, and then you go downhill, and then you're back up hills again. And then
nice.
And then there's cobblestones. It's quite a trek to get around.
Absolutely shredded our double buggy. We had a Bugaboo Bee stack.
A Bugaboo stack.
Well, yeah.
Is that a pancakes thing?
I call it a stack.
Okay.
So, like, you can't get in by with a side by side, but it was a stack like that, one there, and it cost like all the money we had, and it just got wrecked up here.
Suspension.
Nightmare.
Yeah, you need to pimp it out, like get suspension.
Yeah.
Get those things that make it like jump at traffic
My
lights.
wife wouldn't let me get my duct tape onto it.
You could have fixed that.
But yeah, yeah, I have zero answers for parents on.
So the kids are presumably a balancing influence. They force you to do things that you normally wouldn't have done before they were here, like eat properly and rest and.
Yeah, up here they expose how bad of a person you are, though, because you become short with them way too soon, and then you immediately recognize that, and then you think, Jesus Christ, you're awful. But I tell you what, September through November, it's easy to be like super dad for a little while.
Yeah.
You're just full of confidence because you make no wrong moves.
Do you have a little rest for yourself after the festival? You go straight back in?
No, we're too poor.
Okay.
And also, that's such a great idea, though. But I tend to make stupid decisions.
Okay.
And think, no, I'll be fine. Actually, I think it's a really good idea.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for coming in and chatting to us.
I'm sorry I don't have any more insight.
That's
other than keep an eye on that drinking.
Yeah. And don't follow people across the road because
they've found out it's not great for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The science is in.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, man.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be back again with somebody else in that chair.